In 1938, a handful of climbers set out to prove that Everest didn't need wealth or glory, only courage. What they found high above the clouds was a truth money could never buy.
It's 2:20 a.m. I'm still buried in the Himalayan Club Journals, century-old field notes from the Himalayas. It's like diving deep into the documented history of the Himalayas from the early 1900s. The journals cover everything, from indigenous wisdom, cultural myths, to epic expeditions and groundbreaking discoveries. These forgotten stories are brought to life by synthetic voices in the Himalayan Journals podcast. Subscribe, zone out, binge, and pass it to a fellow mountain junkie.
What changed when a small economical expedition tried Everest in 1938 after years of large and costly attempts that met bad weather and thin results? Could a lighter party, moving with care and restraint, do as well as the big ones or better when chance still held most of the cards? The invitation for an attempt came to B.J. Gould in Lhasa, and the committee gave the leader a free hand. Money was raised privately. Each member paid what he could. The party kept publicity to a minimum, sent only essential news, and planned to prove that modest means could still carry climbers high. Shipton's estimates guided supplies. They avoided tins where possible and carried ham, bacon, cheese, butter, pemmican, chocolate, and 600 water-glass eggs. With a pressure cooker, they ate normal food up to Camp 3. Ang Tharkai, baked bread, and scones. Some 1936 stores at Rongbuk helped. Oxygen came in two types, the closed mask and the simple open tube. Professor Finch had urged including the latter. On 14th February, Shipton and H.W. Tillman reached Kalimpong to receive the expedition stores. Sherpas were enlisted at Darjeeling. By the end of the month, the party gathered, Warren bringing the oxygen. They left Gangtok with 60 mules on the 4th of March after a farewell from the Maharaja. Deep snow held them a week at Tanggu. They crossed the Cebu La on the 18th of March. The march across Tibet proved mild for the season. They reached Rongbuk on the 6th of April, earlier than any predecessor, only to meet an earlier break in the weather. Illness ran through the camp. On 7th April, porters arrived from Solu Khumbu with food, and stores moved to the old base camp. On 9th April, they shifted to base, then to Camp 2 on 18th April, where Tillman went to bed with flu in 46 to 47 degrees of frost. After one carry to Camp 3, porters rested at Rongbuk and returned on the 22nd. Plans were set. Shipton and Smythe would rest at Karta after examining the North Col, then return for a late May attempt. On 26th April, reports showed much ice, hard wind, and cold. With coughs and colds, the party was not fit. On 27th April, Shipton, Smythe, and Oliver crossed Lakpala to Karta. 2 days later, the others followed with porters. From early May, snow fell daily. The hoped-for lull never arrived. By the 18th of May, the mountain lay under new snow. On the 20th of May, 4 climbers tried the North Col slopes. A brief avalanche on a leftward traverse warned them, then steady snowfall and night avalanches drove caution. They considered the west side approach recommended in 1936. Cold winds returned, the slopes seemed safe, and on May 26, porters and the Europeans reached the North Col. The mountain was white, clouds rose on both flanks, and the snow was soft. More snow fell. On 27th May, Shipton and Smythe went down to try the west side when conditions allowed. At the end of May, Odell, Oliver, Warren, and Tillman pushed to Camp 4 in heat, and mist. Snow rotted in places. A foot of new snow stopped further carries. On 30 May, they tested the higher slopes, found knee-deep snow, reached about 24,500 feet, and retreated. A strong west wind on the 1st of June scoured the face. They chose the west approach, set West Camp 3 near 21,500 feet, and crossed the debris of a great avalanche to reach the Col by an early start, passing 500 feet of bare ice. On June 6th, they established Camp 5 at 25,800 feet. 2 porters succumbed to altitude. 7 stayed with Shipton and Smythe. On 8th June, that pair forced a hard route to Camp 6 at 27,200 feet, then found deep powder next day, judged progress futile, and withdrew. Lloyd and Tillman followed, reached Camp 6 on 9th of June, and tried for the summit ridge on 10th June. A 50-foot rock wall barred the direct line. A slanting snow corridor proved thigh-deep. Every possible line on the smooth, outward-sloping rock turned them back. They retreated in wind and snow, then hauled through a crevasse fall near Camp 4. Illness struck the high camps. Ongdi developed pneumonia. Pasang suffered a stroke and lay paralyzed on the Col. With the west side ice traverse out of the question, the party lowered Pasang down the North Col slopes, rope's length by rope's length, for nearly 1,500 feet, then carried him to Camp 3. There was no further chance. They left Rongbuk on the 20th of June. Snow still covered the mountain. The conclusions were plain. A small party, run on modest lines, stood as good a chance as any. Perfect conditions on the last 2,000 feet were essential, and siege tactics on snow-covered summit rocks were impossible. Wireless would not have changed the season. Oxygen helped little by their lights, and the mountain could and should be climbed without it. Above all, the weather decided the matter, and in 1938, it gave them nothing.